Some will play more or less with all the numbers coming from ESPN Bet Sportsbook. NFL win totals. RC, the Dolphins number is at 8.5. You go more or less wins for Miami.
I'm going less wins for Miami. Listen, this team is not what it started out to be under Mike McDaniel. They're trying to find physicality on the offensive side of the ball. You can see there's dissension amongst its leaders, and I believe many people in that building don't know if Mike McDaniel will be back next year, and if they don't get a strong start, I believe a change could be made.
Mike T, the next one, Hembo would call a smelly line. The Vikings are projected at 8.5 wins. They won 14 games last year. Do you go more or less?
Yeah, I'm smelling a big season for Minnesota. I'm a big believer in J.J. McCarthy. I'm going way higher, 10, 11 wins. Look, I know at the beginning of the season, Jordan Addison's suspension, it may not be perfect. There may be some growing pains. This team's loaded. Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, T.J. Hawkinson, 10, 11 wins for the Vikings.
I agree. They're begging you to take the over, though. That always makes you suspicious. Last one, Danny. Let's do the Bears. Their total is 8.5 wins. Do we go more or less?
I'm going to go more. Ben Johnson, too smart as a offensive line, and I think the focus of his journey becoming a head coach is a big deal. Caleb Williams will take a step forward in his development. I also think Dennis Allen for their defense is going to be a big deal. This is an offense that has got a plethora of people to throw the football to and an upgraded offensive line. I just think it's too talented to not win 9 or 10 games.
Let's hear from Ben Johnson after the Bears' final preseason game. Remember, in their second one, the first one that Caleb Williams played in, we all went nuts. He looked so ridiculously good. His coach was not impressed with what he saw on the field from his offense during their last preseason game, but remains hopeful. Listen.
Offensively, first two possessions was really sloppy football that has plugged us in and out of camp so far, and unfortunately that's what we got here tonight. Good news is we'll be able to look at this tape and coach it up with our guys, and I think it's out of our system hopefully for us going into the regular season.
Sounds impressed with what just happened. Very quickly, Mike T, he worked for you at one point. You were telling us this morning something about his personality.
Yeah, welcome to America, Ben Johnson. Look, he is a perfectionist. And look, there were some sloppy things, but I thought the offense looked good, guys. But that's Ben. If they score 30 points, why didn't we score 31? He's going to be a great head coach. That's just sort of his personality.
Yeah, another P word. He's a pessimist.
Yeah, well,
Goodness gracious.
Very thankful that was the word.
or if you're a Bears, you don't want to hear, maybe he's a pragmatist.
Yeah,
I don't like that one either.
Let's hope.
I might not be smart enough to know what the hell that is.
We'll get Danny a thesaurus after the show. But so he just basically, in the preseason, some good, some bad. Dan has some tape on what we've seen from the quarterback, and that sort of is the theme.
And I expect that to be the season. The good, there were moments when he got off of that number one and had to progress to a number 2 or number 3, and then threw it pretty well and also moved pretty well. Here's the good. Getting to the third part of your progression, bottom of the screen, a traditional pass concept. It's a high-low, an in route, and an out route. Those are kind of 1-2. Not there, okay? You have to reset and get backside to your number 3. That night might not look glamorous, throwing the ball downfield, but that's where he needs to get to, moments when you did that. Again, a very similar concept that one you'll see that he handled poorly. Short in up top, corner route. The read is the cornerback. If he sits on that short end, we're throwing the corner route, this ball comes out to number 2 on time, and it's perfectly thrown to Rome Odunze. Those are two really good clips of progression. Now some of the bad that Ben Johnson talked about. It's that concept that I just showed on the out route, but it's a short in with an in route. The read is Rome wins. That linebacker right there. If he gets depth with his shoulders turned in, throw that ball on the short end. Peyton Manning did it 1,000 times this season. He holds the football, scrambles around, ends up being a throwaway. Just throw that 5-yard short end that you did later in the game. Situationally, this one's huge. 2nd 3, it's man coverage. This play's not good versus man coverage if the linebacker goes underneath and doesn't get picked. There's really nowhere to throw the ball to unless you're anticipating throwing the tight end in route right now. Okay, it's 2nd and 3, but now we hold the football, we run around, we try, we take a sack. Now we're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. So that's the bad that you kind of saw Caleb have in college and then his rookie year and then that Ben Johnson's talking about. So I would just expect, if I were Bears fans, that roller coaster ride of sometimes it's going to look awesome and sometimes it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, and I also think, too, right, the one thing about the Kansas City Chiefs that we don't often talk about is how many of their starters play early on in these preseason games. And so when we watched him versus the Bills, he was playing against a lot of backups. And so early on, Steve Spagnuolo's bringing simulated pressure. He's rolling from double high safety to single high. And so he's giving Caleb some different looks. It's real life. And what I liked about what Caleb did was you start the game off and there's a jet sweep that he fumbles. I would love to know how many jet sweeps Caleb Williams has executed from under center, right? A lot of times he's catching it in the shotgun, tossing it ahead of him. But he was able to rebound from this. We saw later on, it's a simulated pressure. There's a guy right in his face. He gives Rome Odunze an opportunity to catch the ball one-on-one down the sideline. I felt like it should have been a catch. The 2-minute drive, he's operating quickly. He's being efficient. He's going through his progressions. And even on the sack, when Dan talked about getting the ball out of his hands early, last year we saw Caleb Williams bail out the back of the pocket. This time he tried to stay in the pocket and he moved up. So instead of 3rd down and 14, 3rd down and 15, it was 3rd and 8. And so I'm not where Ben Johnson is, thinking that everything we saw on this field wasn't good. But the thing about him is it wasn't just Caleb Williams, it's the total execution of the first offense.
Greedy, the next time we're going to see him is Monday night against Brian Flores and a really good Viking defense. I think we're going to see two things. We're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, heavy up the protection with Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland, and then just completions. And I think knowing Ben Johnson, it's going to be protection first, completion second.
I'm telling everybody, Bears fans, this is what it's going to come down to eventually this season. Listen to me, okay? So Ben Johnson in Detroit, 2022, 23, 24. They ran 50% of their offense from the quarterback underneath the center, the most in the NFL. Last year, Caleb Williams, when he played under center, 3rd worst quarterback in football. So we often talk about Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams right now in the shotgun still is a significantly better quarterback.
Yeah.
So what might be best for Caleb Williams in the shotgun might not be what's best for the Chicago Bears. So how does that marriage come along with Ben Johnson going, okay, what's best for my offense schematically and our team to get it all together? It's not best for Caleb, and what's best for Caleb's not best for the.
But
how
also,
does
too,
that marry?
yeah, also, too, though, when you have a quarterback like Caleb Williams, who you draft first overall, who has this high level of talent, Ben Johnson is going to have to acquiesce sometimes to what is best for Caleb, because what allows him to operate the best will be best for the offense as well.
The best coaches make it fit for the personnel that they have.
Yep.
If that's what Caleb does well, they have to
But
do
that's
that.
going to take time for them to figure that out. That's my thing. And then maybe the run game's not as dominant as it was in Detroit. Maybe the play action game's not as dominant.
Greedy, to Dano's point, Caleb Williams had 8 snaps in college under center. It's a skill.
Total.
It sounds simple.
Total.
Yeah, it takes time.
The last thing is to say, I think, is the thing that no one wants to hear, which is that when you are developing a quarterback of this magnitude, and this important to the organization, the wins and losses cannot be the most important consideration for the coach. You need to make Caleb Williams into what he can eventually be, because then you're going to have a chance to win for the next 15 years.
But some of that has to be ugly too, though.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like with your kids sometimes when you're trying to get them to learn a lesson, you have to teach them to do something that they're not comfortable with, something that they're unfamiliar with, because it's the hard thing. Caleb Williams is sometimes going to have to do the hard things. But when Ben Johnson is in those moments where you can get wins, which will affect his psyche, will affect his ability to continue to progress and grow, you have to do something that he's comfortable with.
And that's why it can't just be a shotgun offense. And that's what's going to impact this all. And I know people are tired of hearing it. It's just reality.
It's his sort of the beginning, the first day of the rest of Caleb's life, and the first day of the rest of J.J. McCarthy's life. They come together 2 weeks from tonight on ESPN's first Monday Night Football game of the season. Coming up.